My degree was in music, so I think the very, very first job I ever wanted to do actually was to be the captain of a ship, but that sort of changed a bit over time, as these things do. I was at one stage angling at being perhaps a musician, but I wasn't, really good enough, because music is very competitive, and there are a lot of very good musicians who are actually unemployed. So I decided I'd better get a day job and keep the music for a hobby. So I thought I might want to be a teacher. But I did a gap year working in a school and decided that certainly at the time I wasn't really going to be a teacher, and sort of looking around, and I'd always liked reading and liked stories, and I sort of collect books. I've got a huge collection of books at home, so a librarian seemed like an obvious thing to try, and so I went and got a library qualification, and then I was lucky really, because I just came to Blackburn. There was a temporary job going that I saw advertised, and I applied, covering a secondment. So I literally arrived in January, and my contract ended at the end of March. So I arrived in Blackburn with a suitcase in each hand, thinking, I might be going back, because I'm from Belfast originally, I might be going back to Belfast at the end of March. And fortunately, a permanent job came up not long after I came here, and I applied, and I got it, and I've been here ever since. So that was nearly 13 years ago. It's hard to believe, but you get busy, and you're enjoying yourself, and time flies, really. I think meeting people is probably the thing I enjoy most. I wouldn't want to be stuck away in a dark corner, kind of like just dealing with admin work. I am basically, in the end of the day, a people person, and you meet all sorts of people, from the people who come through the door changing their books, who a lot of them have interesting stories to tell, to professional authors, and maybe aspiring professional authors who are promoting their first book. They're all, everyone basically you meet is quite interesting, and you can find out interesting things from them. So I suppose that's, if I had to pick one thing, I suppose that's the thing I like the most. We have kind of like children's reading groups and that sort of thing, chatterbooks, that we've run in various different libraries over the years. And now, we're getting to the stage where kind of like children that were coming into the library on a regular basis. When I first started, they're not quite at the stage of having children of their own, but, some of them are off to university and that sort of thing. And we ran a scheme for volunteers to help out with our summer reading challenge over the summer this year, and one of the volunteers, when she turned up for her interview, I did recognise her face, but I couldn't quite place it, and she said, I used to be a member of Chatterbooks, and I used to come along kind of like every month with my little pack, and I sort of, I feel really old now, but that's just the way it goes. But yeah, it's nice to see people kind of like coming back as a teenager, or as a student, or as an adult, because in the end of the day, that's what it's all about. That's kind of like the aim, really, is enthuse them about libraries and make them want to be kind of like readers and library users for life, because that's if we're looking at the future of libraries, those are the people that we need to be catching to make sure that they then do come back. I suppose the message from the library really is that there are all different books for all different people. So even if you think you aren't a reader, or you don't enjoy reading, then there's bound to be something that actually you will enjoy. It might be fiction, it might be that fiction's not your thing, and you actually you just want to read about, if you're passionate football fan, you might just want to read books about football, or you might want to read graphic novels, or all that sort of thing is perfectly legitimate, and you can come and read that sort of thing, borrow it from your library too. If you happen to pick a book that you don't particularly like, nobody's going to like all the books, and I say that to some of the school classes that come in, nobody's going to like every single book in the library, and if you don't particularly like it, well, that's okay, just bring it back and choose a different one. The great thing about the library, obviously, is it's not costing you anything to do that. So if you can afford to experiment and try different things.